What is going on, everyone? This movie is called While They Were Sleeping. This movie is directed by Brittany Underwood. It is written by Brittany Underwood and Nick Roth. It is also starring Alicia Willis as Zoe, Taryn DeCapri as Rachel Walker, Dakota Volker as Jess, Natalie Starvola as Robin, and I guess we'll include this other guy, Jason Pierce as Dean. Let's get into it, folks. The first thing we see is a man or a person creeping into a house, middle of the night, everyone's asleep. The man or the person creeps into the parents' room, pulls out a gun with a silencer, pops the husband right in the head. Bam! He's out of here. And that's how we start. Crazy, ain't it? The mom that was laying next to him didn't hear anything. The next morning, I guess she woke up, found her husband dead next to her. Now, we don't see all that. All we see is a house full of cops. They're doing their initial investigation, looking for clues. She's on the couch crying. The daughter's in the bed crying. It's a very sad scene. I mean, she seems very broken up. I mean, how would you feel you wake up and see your significant other shot in the head right next to you in the bed? Pretty lethal stuff. I don't know how they're supposed to sleep in that house again. Something like that happened? That's crazy. Here we meet Detective Rachel Walker. And a little side note, I'm so tired of these movies with these empty cups of coffee. They're walking around, the cup, it just looks light in their hand. Anyway, it was a little nitpick of mine. But we meet Detective Walker. And of course, with a crime like this, they're gonna automatically blame or suspect the significant other first. So that's just the way it goes. And she's like, I can't believe it. You think I did this? She's all in shock and all that stuff. But, you know, that's how crime scenes go, lady. And of course, they're looking for a motive. At this point, we find out that Zoe is a stepmom to her daughter, her stepdaughter. They're trying to figure out if maybe the biological mom has something to do with it, but she's not in the picture right now. Zoe has full custody of the daughter, so they're just trying to put the pieces together and try to figure out why this happened, who would do this. And the bio mom, she doesn't have full custody because apparently she got herself hooked on some drugs, and so the stepmom and her dad stepped up. But they're really suspecting that the bio mom has something to do with it. I guess we have to find out. It seems like a pretty good motive, but, you know, we don't know yet. But come on, it gotta be like the jealous baby mama, right? Don't that seem like it's the logical thing, you know? You raising my baby, I can do it better, I'm not on drugs anymore, you know, it seems like that's what it is. So later on, Detective Rachel Walker does go to visit the biological mom, and she says that she didn't have anything to do with it. She questions her about what she was doing that night. She said she was out with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend is named Dean. She was out with Dean, and it's a solid alibi, but you know we can't trust no crackhead. So we gotta follow up on this alibi and find out exactly what happened. But Robin, the bio mom, she seems pretty cool, but I don't know. We're gonna find out though. Honestly, this story seems very straightforward because this story was inspired by real events, whatever that means. I mean, I'm thinking most stories are inspired by real events. In real life, things doesn't usually take so many twists and turns, so usually these movies are straightforward, but we'll see. We'll go through it and see what happens. Later on, we find out that William, which is the dead husband, he had a $2 million policy. Now that's looking bad for Zoe because it's like, okay, you killed your husband so you can get that money, right? But they seem happily married, so I don't know. And then Zoe said she didn't even know the policy existed. And I was thinking about the guy that plays the dead husband. He got like either the best job in the world or the worst job in the world because he's laying in the bed, sleep, he gets shot, and then they show him on a couple of pictures. He doesn't have to speak a word. They don't even show him get shot. I mean, he has nothing to do. He's just like a face. So it's kind of funny, but I guess he got his credit though. I didn't even mention him in the who's starring in it because he didn't really do anything. He's like the mystery though, who killed him. But anyway. Meanwhile, Zoe's poking around trying to find out what's going on. She's trying to be a little detective herself because she doesn't know what happened, and she's seeing that they're kind of blaming her a little bit. So she's like, no, I don't know what's going on, but I got to find out because I didn't know anything about that $2 million policy. And so she's digging around and she looks in his computer and she finds out that he had been corresponding with Robin lately. And she was pretty much threatening him saying, I'll kill you. I want you dead because you won't let me see my daughter. And she had no idea they was having these conversations back and forth, all this tension. And so she's like, well, that makes sense. That means that she's the one that done it. And so her plan is to go to the detective and tell her everything. But side note about this detective, the lady that's playing the detective, she has some weird acting going on. One minute she's playing it good. Next minute she's like a robot. Next minute she has like a weird accent. I don't know if they was doing a lot of voiceovers, A&R. I don't know, but her voice is like, it's weird. If you pay attention to her voice, she goes into like 3 different modes. It's kind of strange, but you know, it's a Lifetime movie. I don't expect too much, but it kind of stood out a little bit. But sometimes it was perfect. It was fine, but it's like it felt like she shot this over a long period of time, so she kind of forgot what the lady's supposed to sound like. So I don't know. Anyway, so Zoe goes to confront Robin, the bio mom. Hey, did you have something to do with this? And they don't get along at all. They tried for like 2 seconds, and it was like just going at it. And of course she denied it. She's like, I ain't had nothing to do with this, blah, blah, blah. And so they fuss a little bit, and then they go their separate ways. And by the way, Robin's boyfriend, Dean, he looks a little rough. He looks like he's from the other side of the tracks, if you know what I mean. I'm just putting that out there. I'm just saying he doesn't look like everybody else in the movie. He looks like he doesn't fit. So, you know, hint, hint. That's all I'm going to say. And another side note, you know, I got to give you all the side notes to the movie that I can see. This movie has some weird pacing problems. One part that stuck out to me, Zoe was eavesdropping on Jess on the phone. And then all of a sudden, they switch scenes and she's peeking through a fence looking at Robin at her house. And I'm like, do they live across the street from each other? So she had to get in the car, drive over there, park around the corner, walk around. And we'd never seen Robin house before, so there was just like a weird scene. It just kind of popped up out of nowhere, so it threw me off. I mean, I figured out what was going on, but it was just a weird directing, editing, pacing thing that they did. So if you'll notice it, it's just like, wait, what? Does she live across the street? It was just weird. So anyway, all of this poking around as Zoe's doing, it's going to get her in trouble. And the detective confronts her and said, hey, you need to stop obstructing my investigation. I'm going to have to arrest you if you don't stop doing this. And they get to fussing again. And you think that would be enough to make Zoe back off? Nah, she like a little chihuahua pet bull just latched on and she ain't going nowhere. And at this point, of course, the story starts to unravel. Everything starts to fall apart. And it happens quick. I mean, 1 minute everything's good. Next minute, everything's falling apart. So we do find out that Robin had something to do with William dying. Apparently, my favorite word, she had her boyfriend Dean shoot, and the cover-up that they were doing they said they were at a bar that night. And so the bartender is like, hey, the police came over here, some lady came over here, they're asking questions, I need some more money if I want to keep lying for you guys because y'all wasn't here. So yes, that's what happened. And I'm like, dude, why is you threatening these killers? You know, these people don't play. But he's like, nah, do I need some more money? So everything is start unraveling really, really fast, really, really quick. And while all this is happening, Jess, some kind of way, finds the murder weapon. And some reason she takes it with her, brings it home, and shows it to her mom, to Zoe. That was kind of a strange thing, but that's what she did. Now, you would have thought at this moment that Zoe would have called the police and said, hey, I need y'all to come and get this gun. I don't want to get any more fingerprints on it. It's evidence. My daughter found it at her mom's house. This is the killer's weapon. But no, she decides not to call the police. She decides to go to the police station. And she decides to leave Jess at home, knowing that she just ran from Robin's house with a gun. Like, just bring her with you. But she leaves her at home alone, and some weird, unbelievable thing happened. Zoe walks into the police station with a gun in her hand and goes all the way to the detective's office. I don't know if you could do that in real life. I don't know if you could just walk into a police station and go into a detective's office with a gun, with a murder weapon in your hand. But she did it. Nothing happened. And when she got there, she says, hey, this is the weapon. I told you she didn't. You didn't believe me? Detective Walker's like, well, Robin came in here a little while ago and she said that Dean was threatening her. He was jealous because of Robin and William's relationship, and so he decided to go and kill William. So she pinned it all on William. And at the same time, while Zoe and Detective Walker is hashing it out at the police station, Robin goes to Zoe's house and then she finds Jess there alone. And Jess lets her in the house. These people are dumb. Why didn't she just wait? But then she let her in the house. They're in there talking and stuff, and she's explaining, pretty much telling the same story, that Dean was jealous and he was abusing her, and so he killed her dad, he killed William, and she was scared to say anything because he was beating her and all that stuff. And at one point, Robin goes and puts some sleeping medicine in Jess's water. So I don't know why she knocked her out, but that's what she did. And back at the police station, the detective is saying, we're going to go and get, Dean, so just go home and be with your daughter, you know? And so she's like, okay, I guess everything is going to be fine. They found the killer. And the detective said that they're letting Robin go because she gave up Dean. And so they find Dean and they clumsily arrest him. They bring him back to the police station. And then they switch back to the house and they show Zoe walking to the house, calling for Jess. And I'm like, she didn't see Robin's car outside? Maybe Robin put her car in the back. I don't know. But she walk in the house and she's looking for Jess, and Jess not answering. And she looks on the couch, Jess knocked out. She don't know that she's been poisoned or whatever the hell she gave, sleeping pills. And while she's like putting a cover over her, all of a sudden, surprise! Bitch, what you doing in my house? She didn't say that, but that's how she was feeling. And so Robin starts taunting her, talking crap about her, confessing everything to her, saying, yes, I wanted him dead. He tried to take my daughter. He wouldn't let his daughter be with her mother where she belongs. And she's playing with a knife and all that. And Zoe's like, what are you doing? Why would you do that? You know, he was a good man. He was a selfish man and he wouldn't let me see her. I did everything I was supposed to do, everything. And so she has the knife. She's like, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut myself. I'm going to make it look like self-defense. And then you're going to try to kill me and then she cut herself. She was like, why would you do that to yourself? She was like, I didn't do this. You did. The heifer just go crazy. I'm like, okay, her plan just fell apart. I mean, I don't know how she thinks this is going to work out, but her plan is to frame Zoe. She cut herself, and now they start tussling. They start fighting, and she's trying to cut her, and she's trying to kill her. And while all this is going on, Jess is knocked out on the couch, and then all of a sudden, boom, the police come in there. Drop the knife. Because at this point, some kind of way, Zoe got the knife in her hand, but they know, okay, I forgot to even say this part. Shame on me. The reason why the police came is because Dean said, no, I killed him, but Robin put me up to it. And then the detective was like, well, why would we believe that? He said, well, I had a feeling that she would turn on me one day, so I recorded some of our conversations. And so sure enough, they went in his phone and she was like, when you walk in the back door, you're going to see the bedroom on the right, and turn in there and don't wake Jess up. Make sure you kill both of them. So she wanted both of them dead. And I guess that was her way of getting the child back. And she knew about the policy. Robin knew about the policy, but Zoe didn't. So I guess she wanted to get full custody of the child, and then she'll have her hands on the money. I don't know if that would have worked out because of her history. I don't think she would have got full custody because they was denying her full custody anyway. But that was her plan. But at this point, that's why the cops come to the house, because, you know, he confessed. And so I guess they're looking for Robin. And so they come to Jess's house. And with everything falling apart, I don't know how she thought that she was going to get away with this at this point. Even if she would have killed a girl in self-defense, I don't think she would have got custody of Jess because of her history with her drugs and all that stuff. And it was just too much going on. So the lady just fell apart. The heifer just lost her damn mind. And so they catch her, they pull her outside. And the way she was staring at them before she left, it was kind of funny. But that was pretty much it. That was the movie, folks. It was pretty straightforward. It wasn't confusing at all. It didn't have any twists or turns like I do like. It had a little bit of goofiness in there, so that was fine. But like I said earlier, when you have these movies that are inspired by true events usually isn't that confusing. Usually it's like, this is what happened, this is why it happened. It's pretty straightforward. And this movie was pretty straightforward. I mean, the guy looked like he was a killer from the start. The mom looked like she was crazy from the start. And then the one that Dean, he was wearing the shoes that he had on when he broke into the house at the beginning. So they pretty much gave away the whole movie. So that's how it ended. On a scale of 1 to 10, I give this one a 5. 5 is not bad. That is average. That is right there in the middle. I think it's worth watching. It's pretty straightforward, like I said. Not a lot going on. So, hope you enjoyed my review and my thoughts on this movie while they were sleeping. And I will see you on the next one.